Yeah, I think so. It's getting, yeah. Is next week, am I not leading debate next week?
Yeah, you have both.
Is it, so I have both next week, so that's right. So somehow there's something's not on the poster that
poster said 19th.
Okay, so but the Google Calendar says next week I'm doing this class plus debate on Tuesday, right?
Well, no, it's class 9, isn't it? Next ACI, I'm not sure. I'll check.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So
Tuesday debate, Wednesday.
You're right. So that Sherry had her last ACI.
No,
yesterday.
it was just 8 yesterday, isn't it?
The poster says 18th.
We're all very confused.
I'm fairly sure it was just class 8 last week. But
Okay.
I'm checking on my calendar right now.
April 1st is your debate.
So April 1st is the debate. Okay, so false alarm.
Can that be right?
Anyways, okay. No, this is we've been trying to sort these things out for years now. we got like Google Calendar saying one thing, the poster saying another thing, and the door down there saying a different thing.
You know, I say first.
And I just usually hope someone tells me what I'm supposed to do. And I show up and open my mouth and hope it all works out.
Oh, right, but we extended it. Yeah, because Sherry couldn't do.
Right, so that was during, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, there's 2 more classes of this.
Awesome.
That's good. I thought that was the case. Hello, everybody. Hello. I think it would be nice to open the class with. I just wanted to ask a couple questions to some people that are in the room, and there are some people in the room here who have done long retreats, longish type retreats, and there's some people in the room here that were that just did a pretty much a 10-day retreat, right? So we say that was 10 days, including the weekend was 10 days, right? But that would have been the first time they've ever done anything like that, right? So imagine, who's ever in the room that is meditation practice is relatively new, right? Relatively new experience. And then imagine, you learn some techniques, and then you take these techniques, and then you go into solitude. And it wasn't total solitude, but because there was a teacher there, and but a lot of meditating, right? So you don't have to worry about where your food's going to come from. You don't have to worry about catching the bus. You don't have to worry about looking at your emails, or maybe you do worry about looking at your emails, but you can't. But the world is stripped away from you for like 10 days. And then in those 10 days, you meditate. I think about in the deepest part of that retreat, I think there was, how many Gatakas?
18.
18 Gatakas. So 18 24-minute meditations. And some of them, I think the longest stretch was 6. So 6 in a row without any sort of break. And so I know Camille, I was just wondering, just for the benefit of everyone in the room, like, if you feel like saying anything, you don't have to. You're not the pressure's not on. Amanda was there as well. And Marge, you were there, but you weren't there for that long. Enough to probably feel some impact. But Christine and Mishi, they're kind of like old hands at retreat. So I was just wondering, being like fairly new to the process of meditating, how did you find it, like being in a situation where everything was taken care of for you and you just had to deal with your own mind for like 10 days, I guess. And then how was it to come back and then come back into the world? And you don't have to answer, or if you can just say a few words. If you don't feel like saying anything, you don't have to. I thought it might be beneficial for maybe some people in the room that would be curious as to what their experience was. So, did you feel like saying anything, Camille, to that?
I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It was really easy to not. I shouldn't say that. It wasn't like I wanted to speak, but it would just seemed odd, like when there was things to say, to not speak and go, well, this is sort of silly. I don't know, just tell you, you know.
Right.
So I think I understand now how much the silence matters, and to do it again, I would make more of an effort at that, like to not communicate.
Yeah.
And I think that was a fear, like to start with. But sitting for so long, like 3 hours at a time, made a big difference. And it got to where, wait, I don't want to stop. I mean, I know I have to stop and have dinner, but I'd rather not. But you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Because it got to a point where, I'm thinking about something and I want to keep thinking about that. So it didn't seem like it. In the end, it was, I just wanted to keep going. So I stayed in my room most of the time, which turned out to be good, because I found even sometimes I would think of something, I would have to write it down right then, and instead of waiting to the end, because I can't remember things that long.
Yeah.
But and then coming out, I just got caught up with the leaving on the last day, and I kind of had so much happening by the Saturday that the Sunday was like, I can't do anymore.
Right.
So, but that was okay too, because so much happened for me on Saturday that just in my own head, not with everybody else.
Yeah.
There wasn't a party. So, but I could easily do that again. And it was just even being new, like just seeing everything that I was doing and thinking about it, and very clear. Like trying to not let in the outside world, and then doing it, but seeing how it would creep in anyway. Like worrying about everybody else, and then going, I don't have to. It was interesting watching myself do odd things to get out of it, and I could see that. Oh, you're trying to get out of this, by thinking about something else.
Right.
So that was.
And then how was it coming, like when you had to come back home, and then?
Well, everybody wanted to talk to me about it, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. And I got really protective about. I don't want to. And I just sort of said I was sick at work that day, and go and tried to look at my notes a lot more and think some more. Like I think it's important to have a break between the end of the retreat and going back to do anything else.
That is what it's like, That's like, even when you do a meditation at home and you're only doing, maybe you're going to do like 30 minutes, or maybe you're going to do an hour, maybe you're going to break it up into 2 sections. There was actually a nice glimpse of the day today about that, but as you come out of your meditation, you're supposed to like come out very slowly and gently. And they said in the yoga, the glimpse of the day thing was, be like a man who has had damage to his skull, and you're afraid someone was going to touch it, right? So you come out and you're like very like a child, and then very carefully, like you want to try and keep this sort of new sense of what you cultivated in the meditation and kind of carry it forth, so it doesn't get like damaged, right? So that's even just for one meditation. When you do like 10 days. Then you want to have like a 4 days or something. You want to have like 3 days where you just like sit around for a while, and then because you've gone that much deeper, can be difficult to just get hit by the world right away, because the world can be a fast place, and then you just get swept away. So yeah. How about you, man? Do you want to say anything about that, or just rather not?
Yeah, I did like 5 days and in total, and I think I haven't got lots to say, but I noticed that it really showed up the extremes of the mind. So it showed up the extreme crazy busyness that was always bubbling under the surface, but had been disguised by life, the busyness of life. So it showed that up. So that was one extreme, and it was really in my face a lot of the time, and it just felt out of control, like the narrative and the stories and the gripping onto everything. But it also showed me the extreme sense of relaxation, and actually being away for a period of time and being silent for that period of time. I noticed how it dripped into other parts of my, even my body. Sitting still for that long, I thought that everything would shut down and be really still, but everything moved really well inside, and I felt vital, actually. So the extreme of the relaxation and the sleep, and sleep merging into awake time, and it was good, but also very hard coming back, even after just 3 days of being away from Vancouver. Very resistant to come back, not wanting to look at anything or anyone, and maintain that sense of damaged skull.
It's an inside joke because Amanda keeps hitting her head on things these days.
Keep having concussions, so I'm actually so aware of this area that wherever I move, I'm like this all the time. So yeah, but hard to continue on. I think I found it tricky to just. You think that many meditations, you're like, this is it. This is how life's meant to be. This is the other side of it. All these people are like, why are we doing this to ourselves? And then you come back into the world, and it's, how do I maintain that?
How do you maintain that? And that's the $1 million question, right? How do you maintain that? You can pull that off. Going into retreat, like going into like group retreats or solitary retreats, it's very helpful. It's very helpful. But you can do it on your own if you can't get on retreat. You can meditate enough. It is possible, but it's just more difficult. Because what we don't want our experience to be, eventually, is that thing where it's different. Where it's like, you get up out of your meditation and all of a sudden the world just reasserts itself and it feels like a runaway horse, right? Or a runaway train or something like that. Because hopefully, if you do your meditations in earnest, over time you'll begin to see that the display of sounds and the display of colors and images and mental images and all that we all the meaning that we give that by a continual arising thought patterns or projections of the mind, like we did last time, right? You guys were there for the last time where you got to have a taste of what it's like when you're sitting, and then you get a glimpse of how the mind can't help it. It's constantly needs to give meaning to things, but you can slow it down and you can feel like you have some separation from it, where you can feel like a whole person, separate. Separate's not a great word to use, but a whole person that is not being yanked around by these images and being yanked around by these thoughts that come and must come. And so if you do it enough and train your mind enough so that the baseline of your mind becomes more and more tranquil, then those images that you saw in meditation then become the images you see in life. And they appear the same. Like, oh, there goes the bus, and there it goes by, and you experience it in the same way, where you're not kicked off your seat. You still remain very centered, and you have a full experience of the bus going by and all the people in it, without being carried away by the image. And then you can experience that where your daily routine is not constantly accompanied by a backstory, like a narrator. That's the thing that you find out in your meditation, is that there's until it's stopped, there's some part of your mind that's constantly narrating the show, like a hockey announcer or something like that, and just like declaring the blatant obvious, declaring the obvious, as if you didn't already know, but there's the voice just telling you it's happening, right? As if you need that, right? And there's a connection to that. There's some part of our being that, until we sort of graduate our consciousness to a certain level, there's some part of our being that believes in its own existence so strongly that it's darn we're willing to narrate it. Because it's like it believes in a special kind of entity, and you'll see that thing, right? You'll see that Amanda, right? And you'll see that Wesley, that there's a certain, and they come in all kinds of shapes and colors, and it likes the narration. It likes the narration. I remember, going through the deepest throes of that, when you begin to separate from that and you begin to experience that in your mind, then you get to hear the narrator, but it won't shut up. but you're aware of it, and if you're still stuck on like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be this kind of John. I really want people to think that I'm this great thing, or, and then you'll find the narrator just making up stories, like making up stories, or you look into the past and you'll rewrite the script, and you'll always come out on top, right? Or one of my favorite things to do was I would have fantasies about people talking about me when I wasn't there. Yeah, that Johnny's a great guy. Yeah, John was here today. It was really amazing. He's the way that he is. How do you explain that? Well, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. He's great. He's really great. He's great. Right? And I'd be sitting there and in meditation going, supposed to be meditating. Yeah. These are the things, right, that we discover, right? And when you start getting free of it, you can feel like a heroin addict, and like trying to cut yourself off, because you'll want to make up another one, right? Yeah, did you believe what John did today? Just amazing, right? And you're like, stop it! But no, one more. What else did I do today? Right? And then and then you just realize at that point that you're pretty much crazy, But and the sight of that is born of your meditation. It's born of you deciding that I am going to become a free person. I'm going to become a free, enlightened person with an enlightened mind. And you have to go through all that. You have to go through all those things. And each and every one of you will have your own flavor of that. You'll have your own flavor of, and everyone will be different. Everyone will be different. You know? But it's fun. It's really, really fun. So let's meditate. So you can meditate in a chair. You can meditate sitting on your cushion. You can meditate lying down in Shavasana, relaxation pose, whatever you would like to do. Maybe we can turn down that light just a little bit. Yeah, that's nice.
Could you tell them that way? It's just that, yeah.
Is it bigger?
Yeah, that's fine.
So our first meditation tonight, we're going to work on our stability. We'll work on our stillness. Follow sound. And take some time to feel your body. Setting yourself up for your meditation by feeling where your body connects to the earth. So any surface that your physical body connects to any other surface, so your cushion or your mat, we call that the earth element. So you take some time to pull your mind into this moment now by focusing on what's happening now. And you're going to the feeling, the mysterious feeling of the connection where your body meets another surface. And you're heightening your senses and you're heightening your stability by focusing on the feeling only. And constantly, on each exhale, if it needs to be each exhale, discarding the mental image that goes with that feeling. It's like a true ticket to present time. Because if you allow the mental images to rule the show, then the mind will be agitated. The mind will run off into the future, or run into, or sink back into the past. It won't be able to experience the moment, because it will be labeling it, narrating it. Oh, this is my body. This is what my body looks like. Just feel it. Continue to discard the mental overlay, the pictures that go along with it, and try to stay with what is felt. And now begin to feel the sensation of your belly as your body breathes. And again, you're really having fun focusing, trying to find the physical sensation only, and continuously letting go of the mental image, the mental overlay. And this is a good time to notice if you're feeling like there's resistance or tension in your body, and send your breath there on the inhale and relax it on the exhale. And you can notice if you feel like you're slouching, and then use your in-breath to actually expand your body a bit and draw your crown towards the sky and brighten up your mind by sitting a little straighter. And then return to the belly. And now let's draw our attention up, moving to a more subtle state of watchfulness by moving to a more subtle object, and that is the breath as it passes the openings of the nostrils. as your stillness increases, the breath will become very quiet on its own, and you may need even more attention, even more vividness to detect the sensation, but you will find it. It will be there. Not making any effort to control your breath. Even if it's choppy, short, long and smooth, you're allowing it to naturally be. And that can be a good process in itself, to watch what your mind goes through as you let go of control of the breath. It can be quite profound to find yourself struggling to let go of the breath. If your mind is quite jumpy this evening, you can use the tool of counting to keep your mind occupied here. And so you would punctuate the pause between the exhale and the inhale with a number. Starting at 1. And then continue. The next one will be 2. And if you lose that object, gently come back to 0 when you realize that you've lost your lucidity and you're back. At which point it's very important to just return with a feeling of gladness, being happy that you're back to lucidity, and return to your meditation. If you can actually remain on your object of counting all the way to 10, then you probably never needed to count. But you can start at 0 again if you feel you need to. Just the felt sensations only. Bearing the focus of your mind down upon this object. discarding mental images, discarding mental overlay, and returning to the sense of what is felt only. Now, back your focus up so that you feel like you're more being aware of your whole body at once. If this is too much, return to the nostrils. But try this. As you back away from focusing on the sensation around the nostril area, do a brief scan and notice if you can feel somewhere else in your body being affected by your breath. And send your focus there. Like it could be the back of your shoulders, for instance. And you're doing the same thing. You're just feeling and noticing what happens as you keep your focus on that area, as it seems to shift and change with the cycle of your relaxed breath. Try the method of, if this becomes dim, it gets hazy, like a haze comes over your mind as you're looking at this object. As soon as you notice that, turn your focus to a different part of your body. Maybe you'll feel the breath in your arms. And it will probably come with a mental image. See if you can discard the mental image and stay with and come back to the feeling. As soon as the mind begins to want to go somewhere else, give it somewhere to go. Go, okay, where else do I feel my body breathing? Where else do I feel the breath? Maybe it's my toes. Maybe it's my fingers. And if it becomes too scattered, if the mind wants to jump around too quickly, and you begin to feel like you're not doing the meditation, return to the nostrils and stay. It's like returning to home ground, home base. Re-establishing your stability, and then venturing out again when you feel like you're ready, when the mind has become still again. You also want to be cultivating a sense of watching for any signs of tension, as if all of a sudden you would be doing this with a furrowed brow. And so some part of your mind is watching out for that. And then sounds the call. Oh, my shoulders are getting tense. And you inhale into that area and relax. Oh, I'm trying too hard. This is feeling like work. And you relax. Just let it go. You feel like you're spinning out of control and you don't know where to go, come back to the nostrils. Start again. And then return to center as if you're focused in the center of your head. Just calmly be there and just feel the result over your whole body. Because you don't try to feel anything in particular, any breath anywhere in particular. Just relax. And then the sound of the bowl gently come back to surface, but keep your eyes closed. For the sound of the bowl. And then when you feel like you've heard the last bit of sound, then begin to gently open your eyes. Then it's a good idea to keep your eyes sort of half-lidded, gazing downward. Feel like you're letting the light in. And then slowly returning to being aware of the room. The thing about being in a class, there's advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are, it can be easier to hold your concentration when there's a room full of people doing it. It's like that analogy of, you can easily break one pencil, but if you're holding on to 10 pencils, it's hard to break that at once, which is good. It feels good for most people. The disadvantage can be that maybe you're ready to continue. Sometimes it might take you, like that was 24 minutes. Well, sometimes it might take you 20 minutes to finally, get your ground and then feel like, okay, I'm in the zone now. And you're ready to continue. All of a sudden, the teacher rings the bell. So, but when you're first beginning to meditate, it's good to do frequent, shorter sessions than trying to spin out for an hour. Any questions about that, or anybody want to make any comment of what they may have just experienced in that meditation? Any insights you may have, Marge?
Well, I just wanted to say, after the retreat, I only did the 3 days. I guess it was actually 2.5 days, and it was intense, but it was amazing. I found it I really liked the everything, all the stimulation from the city and everything. And when we got back, it was like, whoa, like it was intense for me. Like it was a beautiful sunny day, and everyone and their dog was outside, and I drove Camille back down to the West End, and it was just full on stimulation, and it was tough. Like it was intense, but and I was exhausted after that. Like Dee Dee had that party, and I was just, I couldn't go. And
Yeah.
I was just like, and I only did those few days, but it was a great experience. And I was saying to Christine that even after those 2 days, I felt really sort of focused the first couple of days, like sort of getting back into the work thing and into everyday life. It was like, wow, everything was really clear. Like it's kind of a strange feeling. But, and I wanted to meditate more and more. Like I just wanted to sit down, but I had that sort of all the shenanigans of the thoughts, and all of that was tough for my first retreat with Canada, but it was great. But I just want to meditate more now.
Yeah, so you've got a bit of a taste of it.
Yeah.
And you'd like to. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. Next time, hopefully longer retreat.
Yeah, well, most people start with 3 days. Most people, their first retreat is about 3 days. Yeah, and then they jump up to like a week, and then 10 days, and then 15 days. And that last meditation, did you find that very relaxing? Was it relaxing, or was it menacing? No, she didn't find it relaxing at all. So you found that it was agitated? It made you agitated?
I just felt it was quite busy.
Yeah.
I was following the instructions and then on to the next thing. And when we went to the nostrils, and then we went out to, you said about going to different parts of the body.
Mm-hmm.
I found there were lots of different parts of the body all at once.
Yeah.
So the mind was like, oh, which one should I go to? I'll go here. No, I'll go here. Then I'll go here. Then I'll go here. And it just felt frantic. So I was like, bring it back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
We're not going there.
Good.
Yeah, so I just brought it back. And then that felt too much. So then I just came back down to my breath and my stomach.
Very good.
And then got that stability, and then moved back out again. So it was like a very busy kind of happening thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lots going on. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good, That's a good observation. So, I'm sure you're not alone in that. And what you do in meditation is you learn to find, recognize that place. So you knew enough, right? You knew, okay, this isn't working right now, right? This isn't my platform where I want to be on right now. So I'll go back one. Okay, I'm back to the nostrils. Okay, this isn't really working out either. So I go back to my belly, and then because depending on where you are at in your meditative path, you may only be able to hold your object for a minute or less. It's actually a significant leap in most people's practice when they can say in earnest that they can sit down on a regular basis and actually stay on one object for more than a minute without just going woo, right? Or going asleep. And so in the beginning, we learn that, okay, I need to hang out on my belly. And okay, and then and you get used to the feeling of what it's like when you have this equilibrium, or this, is that the right word, Wesley? I'm always like, now, ever since you've been called the scientist in the house from Doug, he throws words around. I'm like, what? Maybe that's the wrong word, I should ask Wesley. But when you've built enough, you recognize your own foundational stillness and where you're at with that. Because that is going to increase. I'll give you an example. At a certain point in my meditative career, I reached a point where I knew that my meditative still point, or my meditative platform, had raised to the point where every time I sat down, I was going to reach stillness. It would just be a matter of time. So I would sit down and just take the pose, go in. And some days, my mind would be quite chattery, and be going over stuff, or the day, or reviewing something, or I'd be having some kind of conversation in my head, and I'd be watching things, hearing things, but I knew that if I just sat for a minute, that would just go and fall away, and it might take 20 minutes, it might take 10 minutes, and it might take 30 seconds, but I knew my platform enough to be able to sort of allow myself to settle there. So in the beginning, you're finding that place. You're finding the place that you're building, and you're learning to recognize the signs when you're being pulled away, or when you're getting sleepy. So in the beginning, that's why we constantly try to focus on something simple like the breath, and you have that adventurous sort of playfulness of being able to continuing to throw out the mental image over, because it's interesting. It's interesting and can be quite new for the mind to realize that, wow, I'm overlaying everything, and I don't really know what it feels like to breathe. I don't really know what my belly feels like, because I'm always deciding what my belly feels like. I'm always like, a good person feels like this, a bad person feels like that, and so what Amanda just described would be a smart meditator, realizing that, okay, I'm wasting my time going all over the place. I got to go back. Okay, I'm wasting my time here too. Got to go back. And then over time, doing that enough over time, less and less, you'll have to go back, because you'll hit your place. Right, and then you'll be able to go from there. Anybody else want to say any comment or any insight they may have had in that last little meditation before we go on? Well, let's stand up. Shake the legs out. This is good too if you're having a meditation and you're like, you just can't get with it. It's good to stand up, stand up, shake it off a bit, and then sit back down. It's good practice.
something?
Yes, please ask something.
Well, what I'm wondering is, it's stuff that comes up when you meditate, when your mind is unruly, right? I find it makes sense that stuff comes up from the day or stuff you've been thinking about already recently. But I just never really understand, like, when I'm just sitting where I was laying down and I'm focusing on where the breath is going and it's all going fine, and then, these images pop up that I have not thought about for, 28 years or something,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Of this dog of my friend. When I was in primary school, I'm like, where does Freckles come from? Like, or in retreat too, like certain songs pop up that you haven't thought about forever. Like,
What's going on there? Like, why does that happen?
Why
Yeah.
do things come up that you didn't even know you remember,
Yeah.
Why does that come up in a moment where you're just watching your breath? Like,
Yeah. It's like the mind, right? The mind is an amazing thing. The mind is an amazing thing. It records everything that you've ever seen or heard or felt. There's a aspect, or there's a quality of our minds that remembers everything, and it's somewhere in there. It's somewhere, and in fact, if you get very good at meditation, you can do that. You can recall. You can go in and recall things. You can have an experience. You can re-watch a movie that you've watched 10 years ago and watch it from beginning to end. Re-watch the whole thing. So with our busy lives, if you're not meditating and you're not slowing down, you're just like you're never still enough to kind of see what's lying around and that has been there for 28 years, right? 30 years. And a nice way to think of that is, as your meditative stillness increases, it's like you're going from point A to point B. So you're going from a person that didn't think much about meditating and didn't take much stock in what's happening in the world or why I feel this way or that way about this person or that person. It's just, that's just life, right? That's just life, and some people are nice, some people aren't, and if I get all my things that I think I need to get, I'll be happy, and I'll get my job and I'll get my partner and this and this and this. And so the mind never gets still enough to experience anything else except for the constant ruminating discussion about what I should do next, what I shouldn't have done, what I'm happy that I did do. And it's just constant, right? And in the meantime, there is a part of our mind that actually is completely still, which has the ability to collect all this data and record all this data. And then so how do you go from like a busy mind, you would say monkey mind or busy mind, go from that kind of being, having that kind of experience, to go to say point B, where your mind is completely still all the time, and you're experiencing a great inner joyful stillness, and there's like a center point, like a diamond or something that your reality sort of comes from, and you're coming from a different place, a very, very still place, and the world is arising out of this still place. and you're happy. So if you think of your mind like space, like a vast space, and you're trying to journey to the sun, you want to get to the sun, and you have to go through that. I don't know. I thought of it as like an asteroid belt, right? Like you have to, like the psyche, your psyche, all that's happened, all your mental investments, all the things that have affected you, that that we feel has shaped us into what we are, is like your psyche. Right? And so you have to go through this like asteroid belt in order to get to the other side and then merge with the sun. And as you go through that, you begin to have memories and have experiences from the past that you've never thought of for years and years and years. And old songs will pop up, feelings will come up, memories, people that you didn't even like think about or even you forgot they even existed, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, her or him. Because they affected you. Every single experience you've had has had some kind of an effect on you, small or big. And so it's like going through the process of seeing all that stuff get shaken up and then settle. And as you go through, you're like, oh, I remember you. But you're witnessing it from a different standpoint. Your being has shifted, and so you're viewing it from this other place. Like, oh, Freckles. Was it Freckles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Freckles. And it's not the you that experienced Freckles before. It's a new you that's experiencing Freckles now, going, oh, and you're going through the asteroid belt, which is the deep psyche of your mind, full of just all kind. I mean, you go into retreat and really you can see some crazy things. Crazy stuff will come up in your mind that you wouldn't think of in normal reality. You know. Can be very dreamlike, in a sense. And then when you get to the other side of that place, those kinds of things don't have the same effect on you. Because you're on the other side of it. Because every thing that we've experienced, because we're so strongly invested in a me, that we put a lot of energy, we put a lot of mental energy, for the most part, into everything that we're experiencing. And so there's like residue there, right? There's an echo there still. My first retreat, my first 30-day retreat, I don't know why, but I just kept hearing the Muffin Man song. I don't know if you guys know that song. Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, everybody do the Muffin Man. I'd be sitting there like, give me a break. But then I started thinking, who is this Muffin Man? Who would write a song about the Muffin Man? And then of course, I went on this long, the Muffin Man. And then that became my meditation. And I had this whole story that I could have written about this legendary Muffin Man that visited the ladies in the village when the men were at work. I mean, it's just, this is what happened, right? And it's like that. You like dredge through, like you go through, and then, yeah. Otherwise, if you don't like still your mind, that doesn't happen. You just go through your life and see you next time. You don't get to pierce through that psyche and merge with the sun. Merge with the life giver. Merge with the thing that is like all creation. Hard to say it, but yeah. I'm sure you probably have had these experiences, haven't you? Everybody's going, yeah. Well, let's meditate again. We'll see if Freckles comes back. This time we'll do more of an analytical type of meditation. We'll try and build up a little bit of a stillness thing, and then we'll try and use that stillness to look at something. Once again, experiencing the felt sense of the body, where it touches the earth. Immediately beginning the practice of discarding the mental concept, the mental overlay, as best you can, being with the sense of feeling alone, feeling only. And then shifting to the feeling, the physical sensation of the belly as it moves with the breath that you're not controlling or attempting to change in any way. Taking a scan of your body and detecting any tension, and inhaling into the tension, exhaling it away. If your brow is furrowed or it's starting to feel like you're concentrating hard, soften the eyebrows and take the two corners of your mouth and gently draw them upwards. A gentle smile as a way of brightening up your inside, as a way of relaxing you, as a way of making things appear not so intense. Draw the mind's focus up to the area of the nostrils. Begin watching as the breath passes here. I shouldn't say watching, I'm sorry. I should say feeling. So your mind is focused on the feeling, feelings, physical sensation of the breath passing. Using this focus to bring your mind to a calm, still platform. Using the technique of counting between, punctuating the pause between the exhale and the inhale with a number if needed. The mind needs something more to do. And then begin to think of somebody that you know very well. Someone that is close to you in your life. And picture them in front of you as if they're just sitting across from you. This can be a very good thing to do with, your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband. Or if you don't have someone like that in your life, maybe someone that maybe you'd like to be their partner. Or just a good friend, or someone that you feel close to. And so in your mind, you're seeing them. Just sitting across from you, calmly. Sometimes it can be helpful if you're having a hard time seeing anything visual or calling up a mental image, to just draw an outline, like a black outline of them in your mind, and then fill in the colors. And try to see them in full living color, not just like a paper cutout, full living color. And for some people, they won't see anything. Some people will see an image very clearly. Others won't see anything, but more have a felt sense. Everyone is different in that way. Some people are more visual, some people are not visual at all, and some people are in between. So maybe it's a felt sense of this person. And begin to consider what they look like. And then think about what you know about them. Maybe you don't know much about them. Maybe you know some of their history, their parents, or how old they are, or where they're from. And then start to ask, how well you know this person. In the sense of, when you look at this image, when you look at this person, what are you assuming without checking? In other words, do you think that what you're looking at is somehow emanating from them and not something that you are experiencing in your mind first and then putting qualities onto this object? So as you, in this meditation, look upon this person, can you find the line? Can you find what separates the two of you? Are you looking at something that is giving you information that you are interpreting? Or is there something in your mind first, before that you look at this person? Then add 2 more people. But this time, these people, you don't need to know them, or you may know them. But have them in your mind looking at the person you're looking at. As if maybe they're sitting sideways to you, but they're looking right at the object you're looking at. You're looking right at the person you're looking at. And ask yourself if they could be seeing the same thing you're seeing. Try to imagine, what could it be that they are seeing when they look at this person? And could you possibly know? And notice what you may have assumed before. If your mind wasn't still. Now shift your meditation object to trying to see what this person across from you sees when they look at you. So now you're just sitting and this person's looking at you now. You try and imagine what they see. And think, have I ever thought about this before? Have I ever slowed myself down enough to actually think that they're seeing someone whom I don't know? I don't know how they see me. I've always just assumed that they see me the way that I see me. And what could it be if they see you as something that has good qualities? They think that you look pleasant to them, you're pleasant to look at. Or at least they tell you that you're pleasant to look at. What has that got to do with you? What is it about them? What could be in their mind that would make them see you as something beautiful? And then shift that meditation again into looking upon this person as if you're seeing them for the first time. Now here's the trick. Can we remain still enough and focused enough on this object to always be looking at them as if you're seeing them for the first time? So in order to do that, you would have to strip away the mental overlay. You would have to strip away the continual barrage of mental concepts that you've formed around who you think this person is, and maybe for years, that now you look through when you see them, instead of seeing them for the first time. So just like when you were trying to remain with what is felt alone in your body and throwing away conceptual images, can you look at this person and continue to be in the present moment and be with whatever is arising new? And discard the old story. Because it is an old story. And can you discard any expectation that you think that this person should be for you or should do for you? And just experience them. This may be scary for some people. It may be delightful. The present moment is a very alive and electric place. Doesn't mean that it has to be pleasant. Doesn't guarantee beauty. But it can be new. And it can be very profound to, as you gaze upon this person, if you're still enough, to experience the mental overlay want to creep back in. Your story about this person want to creep back in and be the lens you're looking through, the convenient lens you're looking through. And do your best to toss it aside and look again. So to end this meditation, just thank this person, whoever they may be, in your heart. Thank them for being in your life, blessing you with their presence. Each and every person that we encounter is a unique experience, that we get to experience a unique space of a unique sense of ourselves, really, mirrored with this person. So thank them for that. And then let the object go and relax. And follow the sound back to the room. Coming out slowly as usual, taking your time. Maybe holding on to whatever a sense that you may have arisen within your mind. Maybe maybe it's an exciting newness, something tranquil. Who knows? You try and have an anchor there. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. Well, that's class. Does anybody like to say anything about that last meditation, or anything that they'd like to ask a question of, or? It's good to see these things, right? It's good to like go, oh,
How important is it to have the visual, or like you said, like if you don't see the visual, why does that matter?
Why? I'm sorry. Why does what matter?
Why does the visual matter?
Like in that type of meditation?
Yeah.
It doesn't so much matter. It doesn't so much matter. That's why I was saying some people may not see anything. There are people that meditate that don't see anything. It's all like, sometimes it's just shapes and colors, or a feeling, or a sound. Because I know, like in Tibetan Buddhism, a lot of the meditations are quite graphically ornate, and some people, they don't see anything, but they're still doing it somehow, right? And so for someone who doesn't, so if you can see it, it might be a little bit easier, because we live in a visual world, and so we're always like, whatever we're seeing, we don't really check that what we're actually looking at, is here first. It's like, because you're looking out, right? You're looking out and you're seeing, and whatever is out there, this shapes and colors and sounds, we're then forced into putting like our own experience, our own meaning to that, and so that's why, in a way, it's good to have a visual when you're meditating, so that you can get a sense in normal life with your eyes, like that. And if you don't see anything, then it would be more like you would be checking in on your feelings or your emotions around this object, or the experience, and thinking, just noticing when we think that this person is forcing this experience on us, or something like that, and or when we're just not present. We're not present, like that. Cool, huh?
Thinking the difference between that and when you say we don't want to have an image, or we're doing the other one, like we don't want to have an image.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right. Okay. Yeah. So what I was the point I was trying to make, and maybe not very clearly, is that using the same kind of concept as when you're trying to be with what the breath feels like, or the body feels like, and then trying to discard the mental overlay in the same sense, because the mental overlay is the same. It's the same principle, right? Because this person that's in front of you, they're just like you're looking at, and so you're trying to stay with, in a sense, what you're feeling right now in that moment, and trying to not let all the other overlay come in and add to it, right? And be with just the fresh, bare object as it is for you in the moment, and constantly notice, because in the same way that the mind gets agitated and goes off into the future, or gets agitated and has a story and can't quite stay with the feeling of the body, we don't until we really get a handle on it, we don't notice that we're doing that all the time with the people in our lives too, and some people it's more obvious than others, like they can't listen, for instance, or you interact and they're telling a story, and then you're listening, and then you're waiting to get your word in, and then as soon as you start to talk, they just like change the subject, or like they shift on, and they start their own thing again, or where it can be hard for us as people to just be with each other without both parties bringing this whole thing into it. And so that's it's like a dual practice, where one trying to see if you can begin the process of truly being with somebody without your own story, and also seeing that, yeah, I do have a story. Like, I do have a constant stream of ideas and mental images that I'm actually overlaying onto this situation. That is me. That is like, and so it's both, recognizing both of those things, and then doing your best to try and see them without that. And you'll probably find that you'll see somebody different. Right? You'll see somebody different. They might surprise you. Maybe even if you've been married for 20 years, they might think, oh yeah, I've been thinking this thing about you forever. And I was wrong, Because it doesn't have to be a story there. You can interact with people and just like hang out. It's possible. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
And remember, try to do a daily practice and be like Amanda, When you notice things are getting away on you, just go back one step, Go back one step till you find, you're trying to find that stability that will build over time, and then it will become easier and easier to then have that stability to start doing those kinds of meditations where you just consider something. And it's different because your mind is still. Anyways. Yes?
Can you say something about Friday?
Oh, Friday. Yes. If you'd like to come and have a wonderful experience, this Friday, my lamas, who, and a few other people's lamas that are here and around Three Jewels, have recently come out of long retreat, like a 3-year retreat. And they're just kind of returning to the world now. And we get the honor of being with them. And what's going to happen is they'll come at 7 o'clock. It starts at 7? 7 or, yeah. And so we're going to be playing some music, some live music, for 45 minutes to an hour as people come in and mingle around, and then they're going to do a talk. They'll give a talk, and you'll get a chance to ask some questions. So, and who wouldn't want to ask a question to someone who's just been in retreat for 3 bloody years, right? So, someone probably like Christine will be passing a bowl around, and you can ask these questions anonymously, and they'll take the bowl and they'll just pull questions out, and it's going to be amazing. Hopefully the music will be good too.
Dee Dee's
'cause
making lots of food.
Dee Dee's making food. Yeah, you want to be there just for the food, Dee Dee. And then after they talk, we'll do like a little some dancing or something to some canned music. So that's happening this Friday at 7 o'clock. So you might want to check that out. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Are you gonna